So today I will be presenting and explaining how you conduct and start a business in India, and I will be explaining the customs, structure, and the political patterns within the country. Like which is business in India. Life is different for everyone around the world, as most of us know. As people travel to different countries, the local culture should be respected and expected to be different no matter where you go, because no one country is the same. If people are planning on traveling to India, they should be aware of these factors, which is class structure, social customs, and political patterns. If people were more aware of this, business would go a lot more smoothly over there, and especially due to the booming economy over there, we could really benefit from it. So, like I said earlier, most of the customs, but not all the customs, some of the customs there are different as they are here, like this slide suggests. So, obviously, be polite when you're meeting someone for the first time. Shake their hand. Instead of saying hello, they say namaste. Elders and higher caste members are more important. It's kind of how that is here, I guess. Like the superior is like the boss, An interesting fact is you never want to bluntly say no over there, because it comes off as a bit too blunt and kind of inappropriate and offensive. So instead of saying straight up no, you should be like, oh, I'm not sure, or maybe, or I'll think about it later. And also a weird fact, feet are actually considered unclean. So let's say you're going to someone's house to meet them for business or like receive a gift. You're going to want to take your shoes off because they're rarely worn in homes over there. And if you're wearing socks, to make sure they're clean, because feet are considered kind of unholy to an extent. And if you're meeting someone, especially for a business meeting, which is really important, you don't want to hand wave instead. Because in America, it's like, oh, hello, but that could be considered really offensive. That could be like the opposite, be like goodbye, or I don't want to see you. And no pointing as well, which I think is rude here as well. You don't want to point, but oh, that's really rude. And I think the only time you're supposed to use it is if you're like inside, like in a setting like this. No PDA in public or anywhere, obviously. And don't refuse an invitation to like a dinner or a business outright, unless you have like a legitimate excuse, because that comes off as really rude and offensive. So for the business customs, for the dress, you want to be really conservative. Men would be just a normal suit, just like dark suits for men. And for women, they're really, really conservative over there because they're like religious beliefs and stuff. So they would have to wear like a pantsuit or a skirt suit, and they would have to show little, like to no leg most of the time. And if you were to receive, a business card, you would receive it with your right hand, because the left hand is also considered dirty as well. Like when you eat, you're supposed to eat with your right hand and your fingertips. Like you're not supposed to touch anything with your left hand, which is kind of weird, but I think it's kind of neat. And also for business cards, you're not supposed to translate them, because I don't know if y'all knew this, but English is actually their primary language over there. But like Hindi is spoken by a majority of the population, but English is like their main business language. And you want to be punctual, obviously. Beginning with small talk, you want to form a relationship with these people if you're trying to do business with them, not just get straight to the point. And also, it says lunchtime on here, you want to do business meetings and have like transactions like this during the day instead of later on the day. I took that as so people won't be as tired or annoyed with you. Oh, because lunchtime people are happy, there's a break, Okay. And it's a bit contrasted, as I've already said. The only differences really were the no and just the no stuff and a bit of the dress. Their structure system, which is the caste system. They've had this for the longest time. It's still important to this day, actually. There's 5 different classes, and whatever you're born into, you basically can't leave that for the rest of your life. So it's kind of luck. It's the oldest caste system in the world, and there's also intermarrying between it. The first class, which starts at the head, are the Brahmins. They're mostly like priests and teachers doctors, some, and that it starts at the head. Instead of like a pyramid, like comparing stuff like at the top to the bottom, it's in the like the symbol of the human body. So it shows, okay, you know, the brain's the most important, so these people are the most important, and so it'll go down, or there's like 5 different parts of it. And these people are really smart, and teachers are actually really highly valued over there, which is nice. The second, which is around the shoulders and the upper torso. Forgive me if I pronounce this wrong. The Kshatriyas, they're represented by the arms and the heart. And this caste consists of, it says military elite and warriors, but that's basically people that have like political power or power in society, like politicians, military leaders, people in the army, etc., stuff like that. The third class are the Vaishyas, if I pronounced that right. Again, I'm sorry. That is in the lower abdomen, like the stomach area. That consists of merchants, traders, and farmers. This is known as the business caste because it's basically like this is basically the middle class. It includes a majority of the caste system. These people are probably the most important, in my opinion. Then there are the Sudras, which is the fourth class. It's the bottom of it. This consists of like the laborers. Probably, let's say the modern equivalent here would be probably fast food workers, or you know, janitors at a school, or just like smaller jobs like that are still important. Basically, they work like for the other caste, stuff like that. And then there's the class beneath them, which, forgive me if I pronounce this wrong, are the Dalits, or the untouchables, or the outcasts. They actually aren't considered part of the caste system. And this is mostly just people that are born in really bad situations, or people that aren't part of the Hindu religion, which can include Christians, you know, Muslims, Buddhists, Jewish people, just stuff like that. And speaking of that, they're actually all minorities here. 81% of Indians are actually Hindus, and there's actually increasing issues with minority groups and representation. And I thought that was kind of interesting because I don't know, you wouldn't think, or actually you wouldn't think with a place like so diverse like that, oh, there wouldn't be that many issues, but there's a tiny bit. And a neat thing actually about India, it has the second largest Muslim population in the world, but only 17% of the people there are Muslim. Their social status actually is really, really impacted on their caste thing. Let's say if you were a class, let's say you're in the fourth caste, and you were trying to talk to someone in the second or first caste, you wouldn't be treated with the same respect, let's say you were in the third, or second, or first. In their politics, there's a political map. All their, I think, 28 states and 7 unions, if I'm not mistaken. Elections are held every 5 years, and it also is the world's largest democracy, and it's also a parliamentary government. There's 3 branches to it, kind of similar to how we have here. The executive, legislative, and judiciary. There's sort of checks and balances as well. There's also increasing threats with fundamentalism and diversity issues in the place that diverse. Like I said earlier, there's bound to be some issues. It's been slowly growing these past few years. Let's see. It's also one of the, like I mentioned earlier, it's also one of the fastest growing and booming economies in the world. So we should expect more businesses to travel there. And if not, I think they're making a bad decision because it's booming over there. It'd be awesome if, like, it's a great investment opportunity in my opinion. And if you do go over there, make sure to know the culture beforehand because you don't want to come off as ignorant because we know that ignorance is here, that it doesn't work. And the stuff that I've presented here, it's barely scratching the surface of how diverse and rich the culture is over there. It's amazing, honestly. And here's some fun facts for at the end. It's the second largest country in the entire world, over 1 billion people, which is insane. It has a booming economy. Cows and meat are actually sacred there. So like they're like pets and kind of worshipped to an extent, which I think is really neat. The ears are actually sacred. So if you somehow touch someone on the head or the ear, you have to apologize immediately. And same with the feet, because those are considered unclean. You don't want to touch those. It has the second largest Muslim population in the world. It actually has the largest film industry in the entire world in Bollywood, which